Okay, today I'm going to show you a cross slide vise that I have that I bought a couple of days ago, and I've been messing around with it. This is an 8-inch cross slide vise, and it's meant to be used on a drill press, and I'm going to use it for just light milling and drilling. And I know that drill presses are not meant for the lateral forces of milling operations, but I'm going to be easy on it. And another thing, I did some research on this drill press. I got this drill press off of Craigslist, and it was built in 1969. It's a Rockwell. It's really nice shape, and it's called a 6x6. It has a 6-inch stroke on it. And when I was looking online, it had, I think I was reading that it had 2 sets of oversized bearings on this spindle, on the top and the bottom. So it's a fairly heavy duty drill press. So, and I'm not going to be putting a ton of forces on it. So this is the vise. I got it at Production Tool Supply. It's an 8-inch cross slide vise, and when I got it out of the box and started using it, it was not smooth at all. When I first started messing with it, I had to take everything apart, take the slides off, and I cleaned it up. There's grit from the machining process, and I cleaned it up with some kerosene rags and re-greased everything, and greased the ways and put it back together. And I also had this plate here, the steel plate that holds this crank handle on. It was a little tight and it was binding, so I had to mess with it a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with it. And I decided to get this one. There were a lot of stores, even woodworking stores, will sell like a 3/4 and I think a 6-inch version of a cross slide vise, but the quality is really bad. You can get it for about $70 or $80, I think, and I just didn't like the machining on it, and there was just all kinds of slop in it and play. So I ended up getting this from, this is kind of a mid-range. It costs around $250. You could spend, $600 and up on other vices to get the real precise vices, but this is going to be fine for me. And it does have some graduations on the dial here. They're in millimeters, so and the cool thing is you could move these around, and so if you start an operation, you could zero it out, and then every full crank or revolution is 4 millimeters. Each one of these tick marks is 1/10 of a millimeter, and I did measure it. I measured it from here to this sled right here, and I cranked it so many times and measured it, and they're right on, so I was happy with that. So I have it mounted in my drill press here, and there's an end mill in it right now, and that's what I'm going to be using it for, some woodworking and brass and maybe some metal, soft metals. But I've always wanted one, and I've been messing around with it the past day here. Now it's heavy. It's 82 pounds, which is good in a way because you want that mass, that bulk, to take up vibration and be solid. But it was really heavy for this table here. And this table, I don't even have a crank handle on it. And I was reading online, some guys that even have the tables that have the crank on it, they had a vise just like this, over 80 pounds, and they couldn't really use that crank. So what I did is I came up with, first of all, I didn't like all that weight right on this table. And then every time you put a different tool in here, you have to raise and lower the table, which means you really have to take this off the table. There's a lock back here to raise and lower it, so it's kind of a pain. And this morning I came up with this idea. I took this off of a jack stand off of a boat stand, and I made this. This is just 2 2x4s. The middle is channeled out to receive this threaded rod here, and then I just screwed it to a 3/4 inch plywood platform, and then I'll take the camera off here so you can see it. And then I put a piece of wood up here, screwed it to it so it supports the table. So it works really nice. That way when you make tool changes, you could raise or lower this without having to take this off the table. So, and then I also bolted it down. Show a shot under there. Bolted it. That's important. You want as much rigidity as you can when you're machining like this. So you can see where I greased the ways. So it's pretty smooth now. Now there is some play in the threads when you go back and forth like this, but when you're either pulling the vise to you or pushing it away, as long as you take that play out of there, then these tick marks are reliable. So I'll show you how it moves up and down. You just take and loosen that handle in the back there, and you can raise or lower it with this, and it's really easy. And it takes all the weight off of this column and off of this cantilevered table. So it supports it. So I really like that. It supports it right off of the base there. So there it is. Now this drill press, I have it set. You can see the table there. It's set to 3,900 RPMs. The faster the better for wood. I don't want to take it up to the top speed, which is 55. I guess I could, but it seems to work okay right at the 3,900. So I'll just show a short clip of me milling a piece of wood. There's a piece of red oak here, and I'll show you how smooth it works. Now what I'm about to do here, I could do this on a table saw, no problem, but I'm just trying to show how this works. Well, I gotta lock the table down. So I'll clamp the piece in. So I'm gonna bring this table up. Now here's another thing. I will, when this is in up position, that's the best for the machine. I would never try to mill something with this thing extended, all the way down to 6 inches. That'll go. The higher the better. So I'm gonna lower this, or actually raise the table just a little bit, and I'll show a clip of me milling the surface of this. So I'll lock it in place. This is a 3-phase machine, so I use my phase converter. Let me get my safety glasses. And here, I'll show you all the end mills and stuff that I have. This is the old a Kennedy box that I bought on Craigslist, and you can see all these end mills that were just included in the box. There's a ton of them. A lot of them are cool. They're like, that's 1/16 of an inch right there, and they're all brand new. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them are. You can tell by looking at them. Now something like that I can't fit in my drill in the chuck. So what I'll do is I'll take a cutoff wheel and cut these in half, because the chuck's not deep enough to receive this. So a lot of them are like that, and I'll just cut them in half and chuck them up that way. And you could also put router bits in here, and you could also do drilling operations if you needed if you had a piece of wood or a piece of aluminum or something that you needed to drill a bunch of holes equal distance apart. You could use these dials here to space them apart and drill them. And the cool thing about the vise is you could buy XY tables that are like that you could mount right on your drill press table, but then you've got to mount a vise on top of that, and you always have to square up the vise to the XY table. With this, if you've got a square or a rectangular piece of stock in here, the travel is always going to be right in line with it, and and always exactly perpendicular to it. So it's even if this vise is skewed on the table, that doesn't matter. So that's what's cool about it. So I'll start it up and mill this piece. Now you have to watch what direction. Let's see, what direction do I want to go? We'll try this here. You gotta watch what direction you go, as you get chip out and stuff. I've already adjusted these gibs. So there's not too much play in the sleds. Take a little bit bigger. So it seems pretty solid. There's not much vibration in it. And it travels across here pretty smooth. Last pass. Now I'll cut a channel down the center of this. Now in order to do that, I'm just going to eyeball it here. And I'm going to lower this down just a little bit. You don't want to take too much of a cut at once. That might be a little much. Now I know you could do something like this with a table saw, but there's going to be a lot of other operations that you can use this for where you won't be able to use a table saw. Now if you wanted to run this little corner down here, so there it is. So I just want to start the camera up and show you my new cross slide vise. So that'll do it for today. All right.